Russell Brand faces the fire, rape and assault charges. Rock a controversial star. Good evening and welcome to tonight's top story. A shocking development that has sent ripples through the entertainment world and beyond. British comedian, actor, and provocateur Russell Brand has been formally charged with rape and sexual assault by London's Metropolitan Police, following an 18-month investigation into allegations that stretch back over 2 decades. The charges, announced on April 4th, 2025, include 1 count of rape, 1 count of indecent assault, 1 count of oral rape, and 2 counts of sexual assault, involving 4 women and spanning incidents alleged to have occurred between 1999 and 2005. It's a bombshell that has reignited debates about accountability, celebrity culture, and the long shadows cast by power and fame. Stay with us as we unpack this unfolding saga, what it means, how it came to this point, and what might lie ahead for one of Britain's most polarizing figures. Let's start with the man at the center of this storm. Russell Brand, now 50, has long been a lightning rod, known as much for his quick wit and flamboyant persona as for his controversial takes on everything from politics to spirituality. Once a staple of British television and Hollywood films like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Brand reinvented himself in recent years as a YouTube commentator and self-styled truth seeker, amassing millions of followers with his blend of charisma and conspiracy-laden rhetoric. But today, that carefully curated image is under siege. The Metropolitan Police say they've built a case strong enough to bring to court, and Brand is set to face his first hearing at Westminster Magistrates Court on May 2nd, 2025. The question on everyone's mind: how did we get here? The story begins in September 2023 when a joint investigation by Channel 4's Dispatches and the Sunday Times dropped a bombshell of its own. 4 women came forward with allegations of sexual misconduct against Brand, painting a picture of a man who, at the height of his fame, allegedly wielded his influence in deeply troubling ways. One woman claimed Brand raped her in Bournemouth in 1999. Another alleged an indecent assault in London in 2001. A third described an oral rape and sexual assault in 2004, also in London, while a fourth accused him of sexual assault between 2004 and 2005. These weren't fleeting accusations. They were detailed, specific, and backed by an investigation that prompted the Met to take action. Detectives interviewed Brand 3 times since then, and now, after months of scrutiny, they've handed the Crown Prosecution Service a file that's led to these charges. It's a timeline that raises as many questions as it answers. Brand, for his part, isn't staying silent. Hours after the charges were announced, he took to social media with a video that's already racking up views. "I've never engaged in non-consensual activity," he declared, his voice steady, but his eyes intense. "I was a fool, but never a rapist." He called the legal process a chance to clear his name, even as he hinted at a broader conspiracy. The law has become a weapon, he said, suggesting forces beyond the courtroom are out to silence him. It's vintage Brand, defiant, theatrical, and divisive. His supporters see it as proof of his innocence, a man persecuted for challenging the establishment. His critics? They see a pattern of denial that's all too familiar in cases like this. Either way, it's a narrative that's keeping the world watching. Let's dig deeper into the allegations themselves. The incidents span a period when Brand was rising fast. Think late-night TV gigs, stand-up tours, and a reputation as a Lothario that he himself leaned into with books like My Bookie Wook. The first charge stems from 1999 when Brand, then in his mid-20s, allegedly raped a woman in Bournemouth, a coastal town far from the London spotlight he'd later dominate. By 2001, he's accused of indecently assaulting another woman in Westminster. Then, in 2004, a third woman claims he orally raped and sexually assaulted her, again in Westminster, followed by a fourth assault between 2004 and 2005. These aren't overlapping stories. They're distinct, involving different women in different places, yet they share a thread: a man allegedly exploiting his growing fame. The Met says their investigation remains open, urging anyone with information to come forward. Could more accusers emerge? That's a possibility no one can rule out. The public reaction has been explosive. On X, posts range from jubilation, "Finally, justice catches up with him," one user wrote, to skepticism, with others echoing Brand's claims of a witch hunt. "No evidence, just old stories," a supporter tweeted. It's a microcosm of the broader divide, a culture wrestling with how to handle allegations from decades past, especially when the accused is a figure as outsized as Brand. His celebrity status cuts both ways. Some argue it shielded him for years, while others say it makes him a target now. And then there's the timing. Just yesterday, Brand was on his podcast musing about his divorce from Katy Perry, calling it a moment of personal reckoning. Hours later, this news broke. Coincidence? Maybe. But it's the kind of twist that keeps this story gripping. What's next for Russell Brand? Legally, he's on a collision course with the courts. The charges are serious. Rape and sexual assault carry heavy penalties in the UK, and with multiple counts, the stakes are sky high. He's got a top-tier legal team, and his public insistence on innocence suggests a fierce defense is coming. But beyond the courtroom, his career hangs in the balance. His YouTube channel, with over 6 million subscribers, has been a lifeline since mainstream media cooled on him after the 2023 allegations. Will his audience stick by him, or will this be the tipping point? Already 3 stand-up shows from his bipolarization tour were postponed in 2023 after the initial accusations. Now, with formal charges, the pressure's only mounting. This case also shines a spotlight on bigger issues. The #MeToo movement, which roared to life in 2017, showed the world how allegations can topple giants. But it also sparked debates about due process and the passage of time. These incidents predate that reckoning by years. Yet they're surfacing now, fueled by a media landscape that amplifies survivors' voices like never before. The Met's decision to pursue charges after such a gap isn't unprecedented. Think Jimmy Savile or Rolf Harris. But it's rare and it's risky. Evidence from the early 2000s isn't easy to come by and memories fade. Yet the Crown Prosecution Service, led by Jaswant Narwal, says they've got enough to move forward. "We carefully reviewed the evidence," Narwal stated. "These are non-recent offenses, but we believe justice must be served." So where does this leave us? Hooked, for one. This isn't just about Russell Brand. It's about power, accountability, and the stories we tell ourselves about the people we put on pedestals. Will he walk free, vindicated in his claims of a setup? Or will these charges mark the end of a career built on charm and controversy? The courtroom will decide, but the court of public opinion is already in session, and it's merciless. Stick with us as this story develops. We'll bring you every twist, every turn, and every revelation. Hey everyone, sorry for the little interruption. Just a quick note. If you love staying updated on Hollywood news but prefer short and to-the-point updates, you're in the right place. We create concise news compilations, making sure you get all the important details without any unnecessary filler. If that sounds good to you, consider subscribing and turning on the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for your support. Justin Baldoni fires back at Ryan Reynolds in explosive legal clash. Crush my enemies, drink their blood. Drama unveiled. The legal battle between Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds has taken a dramatic turn, with Baldoni's legal team delivering a scathing response to Reynolds' motion to dismiss the lawsuit. The filing throws Reynolds' own words back at him, citing a now infamous quote where the Deadpool star joked, "I've realized that I'm too big to fail at this point, so I just crush my enemies and drink their blood." While Reynolds originally made the comment in jest while praising Hugh Jackman, Baldoni's attorneys weaponized it, framing it as evidence of Reynolds' aggressive tactics in this legal war. The feud stems from allegations that Reynolds and his wife, Blake Lively, interfered in Baldoni's professional dealings, leading to his removal from the ITN's With Us film adaptation. Baldoni claims Reynolds defamed him, labeling him a deranged predator in private communications and pressuring industry insiders to distance themselves from him. Reynolds, in his motion to dismiss, argued he was merely acting as a supportive spouse and that the lawsuit lacked merit. But Baldoni's legal team fired back, asserting that Reynolds was far more involved, accusing him of actively conspiring to damage Baldoni's reputation and career. The response filing is packed with biting sarcasm and legal precision. At one point, Baldoni's attorneys mock Reynolds' dismissal attempt, writing, "If our complaint wasn't sufficient, we can amend it," which is freely allowed. And trust us, we've got more. They also drop a bombshell allegation that Reynolds personally called Baldoni's former agent, Danny Greenberg, and warned that Baldoni should not attend It Ends With Us premiere because no one wants him there. Adding fuel to the fire, Baldoni's team argues that Reynolds crossed a legal line by referencing Baldoni's past speeches, books, and TED Talks in his motion, material that wasn't part of the original complaint. Reynolds went beyond the four corners of the amended complaint, which is not permitted, they state, suggesting his defense improperly relied on out-of-context quotes. The filing also shuts down Reynolds' claim that he was just a bystander, pointing out that his marketing company, Maximum Effort, worked on It Ends With Us, giving him a direct financial stake in the project. This wasn't just spousal support, this was business, the document asserts. With discovery now underway, Baldoni's lawyers tease that they've uncovered even more damning evidence, hinting at future amended complaints. And in a final twist, they argue that even if Reynolds is dismissed from the case, he shouldn't be able to recoup legal fees, because the lawsuit was never frivolous to begin with. The judge's ruling on Reynolds' motion is still pending, but one thing is clear, this legal battle is far from over. If it goes to trial in 2026 as scheduled, Hollywood and the internet will be watching every savage moment. So whose side are you on? Team Baldoni or Team Reynolds? Sound off in the comments, because this drama is just getting started.
I seriously didn't know that things got this bad for this Rachel Zegler Snow White movie, but I'm reading this right now, and I'm worried about Rachel Zegler's career. I don't see how she comes back from this.
There are empty theaters all around the country. We are now at a 1 out of 10 on IMDb for the new Snow White, and it couldn't happen to a better person.
She doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable.
She's now bragging about the success of Snow White, which is a movie that's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. And mainly because of her, and because nobody wanted to support her.
Controversy around the film began ever since we learned that there would be no Prince Charming because apparently he kissed her without consent, and also no woman needs a man to rescue her. The movie also used CGI for the 7 dwarfs rather than actors because they thought using real people would be
Snow Woke, the Disney disaster, a behind-the-scenes meltdown. The boardroom at Disney headquarters was tense, the air thick with the scent of panic and overpriced coffee. Bob Iger stared at the latest box office report projected onto the screen. $48 million opening weekend. A catastrophic flop for a film that had cost nearly $300 million to produce. His fingers drummed against the mahogany table. How the hell did we get here? He muttered, more to himself than to the room full of shell-shocked executives. The answer, of course, was a perfect storm of arrogance, tone-deaf marketing, and one actress who couldn't stop stepping on rakes in interviews. Rewind to 2022, when Disney first announced their bold reimagining of Snow White. The pitch was simple. Take a beloved fairy tale, scrub it clean of anything problematic, and inject it with enough modern messaging to make Twitter activists swoon. No Prince Charming, because consent. No 7 dwarfs, too offensive. And a Snow White who wasn't just a princess but a warrior queen. The script was rewritten so many times that by the end, it read less like a fairy tale and more like a woke manifesto wrapped in Disney branding. Then came Rachel Zegler. Fresh off her West Side Story acclaim, she was Disney's golden girl until she opened her mouth. In interviews, she trashed the original film, calling the prince a stalker and mocking the idea of a love story. "We don't do that in 2024, she sneered, as if the millions of fans who grew up with the animated classic were idiots for ever enjoying it. Then came the dress controversy. Zegler bragging about demanding pay for every hour. She wore the Snow White costume as if she were a union factory worker rather than a multi-millionaire actress. The internet exploded. Entitled brat, ungrateful, and career suicide trended worldwide. Meanwhile, Disney's marketing team was in shambles. Trailers were focus grouped into oblivion, cutting out anything remotely controversial, which ironically left them with no actual plot to show. The dwarfs, now replaced with magical CGI creatures, to avoid offending little people, who, by the way, were furious at being erased from their own roles, looked like something from a low-budget fantasy game. Test screenings were a disaster. Audiences walked out, baffled by a movie that couldn't decide if it was a feminist revolution or a messy TikTok sketch. Then came opening weekend. Theaters were empty, critics savaged it. IMDb was flooded with 1-star reviews. Worst Disney remake ever. Zegler ruined Snow White, and this isn't feminism, it's corporate pandering. The box office collapsed faster than Disney's excuses. China, usually a guaranteed savior for flops, gave it less than $1 million. The memes were brutal. Snow White and the 7 woke disasters, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the floppiest of them all? Back in the boardroom, Iger rubbed his temples. Damage control, now. But it was too late. Retailers yanked Snow White merch from shelves. Investors demanded answers. And Zegler? She was radio silent, her social media suddenly free of the snark that had defined her press tour. The final nail in the coffin? Disney quietly shelving plans for a sequel, something that had been all but guaranteed before the backlash. The lesson? Audiences aren't stupid. You can't insult the source material, mock the fans, and lecture instead of entertain, then act shocked when no one shows up. Disney gambled on wokeness over storytelling, and lost. And as for Rachel Zegler, well, let's just say Hollywood has a short memory, but an even shorter tolerance for self-sabotage. If Disney wants to save itself, maybe it's time to stop remaking classics and start telling new stories. Just a thought. Why Sydney Sweeney dumped her fiancé? It's official. Sydney Sweeney, the 27-year-old Hollywood sensation known for her roles in Euphoria and The White Lotus, has called it quits with her fiancé of 3 years, Jonathan Davino, ending a 7-year relationship that once seemed destined for the altar. The news, confirmed by multiple outlets including People and Us Weekly on March 31, 2025, has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, sparking endless speculation about the real reasons behind the split. While breakup rumors had been swirling for weeks, fueled by Sweeney's deletion of an Instagram photo of her kissing Davino and her absence of an engagement ring, insiders have now shed light on what drove the couple apart. According to exclusive sources, the decision wasn't about a lack of love, but rather a seismic shift in Sweeney's priorities, with her skyrocketing career taking center stage over wedding bells. The story begins with a relationship that started quietly in 2018, when Sweeney, then a rising star at just 20 years old, was first spotted with Davino, a 41-year-old Chicago-based businessman, at various events. Over the years, the couple kept their romance largely out of the spotlight, a rarity in an industry obsessed with public displays of affection. They were last seen together in New York City on January 20th, 2025, but by late March, whispers of trouble emerged. TMZ reported that Sweeney had moved out of their shared Los Angeles home and into the Beverly Hills Hotel, a move that coincided with the postponement of their planned May wedding. Then came the Instagram purge. A photo of the couple kissing, part of a larger carousel posted in January, vanished without explanation, igniting breakup rumors that Sweeney neither confirmed nor denied at the time. So why did Sydney Sweeney end her engagement to Jonathan Davino? According to a source close to the actress speaking to People, the breakup stemmed from Sweeney's overwhelming focus on her career, which has reached a fever pitch in recent years. Sydney is exactly where she wants to be right now with work, the insider revealed. Most people would feel overwhelmed by her working schedule this year, but not Sid. She's all about working right now and very excited about all her projects. Indeed, Sweeney's 2025 slate is packed. She's promoting The Housemaid, set for release on December 25th, and has a string of high-profile projects in the pipeline. The source added, "What did make her overwhelmed, though, was her relationship and her wedding. She didn't feel right about it." This sentiment suggests that the pressures of planning a wedding amid her meteoric rise simply didn't align with her current ambitions. Digging deeper, another insider told Us Weekly that the couple's issues had been brewing for some time. A lot of their issues stem from Sydney being extremely busy with work commitments, they explained. She doesn't have a lot of downtime, and it causes tension in their relationship. This tension reportedly intensified whenever Sweeney was in promotion mode, a period when tabloids often speculated about her closeness to co-stars, like Glenn Powell, her Anyone But You leading man. It's a tough dynamic for Jonathan, the source noted, hinting at the strain Davino felt as Sweeney's star power grew. The couple's 13-year age gap and differing life stages may have also played a role, with Sweeney, now in her prime at 27, prioritizing her career over settling down with Davino, who at 41 might have been more ready for a quieter, family-focused life. The Glenn Powell factor has, unsurprisingly, dominated headlines in the wake of the split. Just days before the breakup was confirmed, Sweeney was spotted in Dallas, Texas, at the wedding rehearsal dinner of Powell's sister, Leslie, on March 29, 2025. The sighting, captured in photos obtained by Dumois and reported by TMZ, reignited dating rumors that first surfaced during the 2023 press tour for Anyone But You. At the time, Sweeney had dismissed the speculation, telling The Age, "People see what they want to see." Yet her presence at a Powell family event, mere weeks after moving out of her shared home with Davino, has fans and tabloids buzzing. Powell's mother, Cindy, attempted to quash the rumors, telling E! Online that Sweeney was simply a longtime friend who RSVP'd to the wedding with her best friend as her +1. "Nothing going on behind closed doors," Cindy insisted. Still, the timing has only fueled the narrative that Powell might have been a catalyst, or at least a convenient distraction, in Sweeney's decision to end her engagement. But insiders maintain that the breakup wasn't about infidelity or new romance. People's source emphasized that Sweeney and Davino didn't split because there is no love. Instead, it was about timing and personal growth. "She's not ready to settle down," the insider said, noting that Sweeney is in the middle of this magical career that she could only dream of a few years ago. Breaking off the engagement, they added, was tough for her. They only lasted for this long because it was hard for her to break it off, but ultimately necessary. Sweeney herself has hinted at this mindset in past interviews, telling Variety in 2023, "You can be in a healthy relationship with someone and also be very successful without needing the man." It's a statement that now feels prophetic, reflecting her determination to carve her own path, even if it means leaving a long-term relationship behind. Since the split, Sweeney has wasted no time reclaiming the narrative. On April 1st, 2025, she stepped out at CinemaCon in Las Vegas to promote The Housemaid, dazzling in a $6,800 Wiederhoft dress that screamed revenge dress with its bridal-like corset and sleek silk skirt. The look, paired with her radiant smile alongside co-stars Amanda Seyfried and Brandon Sklenar, sent a clear message. She's thriving. Meanwhile, Davino was photographed for the first time post-breakup on April 1st in Los Angeles' Bel Air neighborhood, walking Sweeney's dog, a bittersweet reminder of their shared past. TMZ reported that the couple had been separated since January, with Davino keeping a low profile as Sweeney jetted off to Paris, Fashion Week, and beyond. The $6.2 million Los Angeles mansion the couple purchased together in 2024 remains a lingering question mark. The U.S. Sun reported that renovations are ongoing, but the home sits empty, a symbol of a future that never materialized. For now, Sweeney's focus is unwaveringly forward. "Only up from here," she captioned a recent Instagram post from a girls' trip, a sentiment echoed by her actions. As she told people in a past interview, "I need to be able to be with someone who I can literally hang out with 24/7 and never get sick of. And we laugh every single day." Whether Davino no longer fit that bill or her career simply outgrew their bond, one thing is clear. Sydney Sweeney is choosing herself and her moment over everything else. The U.S. Sun reported that renovations are ongoing, but the home sits empty, a symbol of a future that never materialized. For now, Sweeney's focus is unwaveringly forward. "Only up from here," she captioned a recent Instagram post from a girls' trip, a sentiment echoed by her actions. As she told people in a past interview, "I need to be able to be with someone who I can literally hang out with 24/7 and never get sick of. And we laugh every single day." Whether Davino no longer fit that bill or her career simply outgrew their bond, one thing is clear. Sydney Sweeney is choosing herself and her moment over everything else.